Chosen ones. Something unprecedented is happening that's making you increasingly dangerous in ways that shake the very foundations of how others have operated around you. Right now, as you're listening to this, certain people in your life are having emergency meetings about you. Not casual conversations, strategic sessions, because the version of you that's emerging has become impossible to control, impossible to manipulate, and impossible to diminish. What they don't know yet is that their worst fears about your transformation are about to become reality. By the end of what I'm about to reveal, you'll understand why your newfound fearlessness isn't just intimidating to them, it's the beginning of their entire house of cards collapsing. And there's something else, something they haven't figured out yet, but you're about to discover. The power you're stepping into was always yours, waiting dormant like a sleeping giant for this exact moment in cosmic history. 3 days ago, something shifted in the cosmic field around you. You felt it but couldn't name it. That moment when you said no without explaining yourself. That instant when someone's guilt trip bounced off you like nothing. That second when you realized their opinion of you had become completely irrelevant. These weren't random events. They were the first dominoes falling in a sequence that's about to reshape every relationship in your life. The universe has been preparing this moment for years, waiting for you to be strong enough to handle what's coming next. The seismic shift started with a simple realization that's about to change everything. You discovered that every single person who finds you difficult now once found you useful. Let that sink in. Your transformation from useful to dangerous didn't happen overnight, but there was a specific moment when the balance tipped, a moment when your fearlessness became stronger than their influence, a moment when your independence became more powerful than their control. That moment has already passed, and they're just now beginning to realize what it means. Psychological research reveals something shocking that explains everything. Only 3% of the population develops the lethal combination you now possess. Spiritual awareness coupled with unshakable personal sovereignty. Most people have one or the other. The spiritually aware often remain people pleasers. The sovereign often lack deeper consciousness. But you've achieved both, and that makes you the most dangerous type of person to those who built their power on others' weakness. You've become what ancient texts call a sovereign soul, and history shows that sovereign souls always trigger massive upheaval in their wake. Here's what's actually happening beneath the surface that nobody wants you to know. Your growing fearlessness is dismantling a carefully constructed prison that was built around you bar by bar over years. Each bar was added so slowly, so subtly, that you never noticed the cage being constructed. A guilt trip here, a shame tactic there, an emotional manipulation disguised as love. Layer by layer, expectation by expectation, until you were completely enclosed without even realizing it. But something extraordinary happened. Instead of breaking down, you broke through. Instead of accepting the cage, you became something the cage couldn't contain. The first phase of your dangerous evolution began with a single act of defiance, so small others didn't even notice it. You stopped explaining yourself, not in anger or rebellion, but from a place of absolute clarity that your choices didn't require anyone's understanding or approval. This was the crack in the dam that would eventually cause the flood. Because once you stopped explaining yourself, you stopped giving others the ammunition they needed to argue with your decisions. You removed their access to your internal process, and with it their ability to manipulate your thinking. Watch what happens next, because this is where the story gets interesting. Without access to your internal process, they had to escalate their tactics. The subtle manipulations became obvious. The gentle suggestions became demands. The hidden agendas became transparent. By simply withdrawing your explanations, you forced them to reveal their true methods of control. And once you saw the machinery behind the manipulation, you could never unsee it. This is why they're panicking now. Not because you've become difficult, but because you've become aware. The intimidation factor isn't actually about your fearlessness alone. It's about what your fearlessness reveals. Every time you remain calm in the face of their chaos, you're showing them a mirror they can't bear to look at. Your peace in situations that would have once destroyed you demonstrates that their power was always an illusion. They never had actual control over you. They only had your agreement to be controlled, and now that agreement has been permanently revoked. But here's where the cosmic joke gets even better. They're about to try something that will backfire spectacularly. The return approach is already being planned, not because they miss you, but because your absence has created a problem they didn't anticipate. Nobody else tolerates what you used to accept. Nobody else absorbs what you used to absorb. Nobody else enables what you used to enable. Your replacement doesn't exist because you were specifically chosen for your unique capacity to endure their particular brand of dysfunction. Without you, their entire system is failing. If this message is hitting deep in your spirit right now, hype this video so more chosen ones can discover what's really happening to them. Because what you're experiencing isn't isolation, it's elevation. And there are others out there going through the exact same transformation who need to hear this truth. The second phase of your transformation involves something even more powerful than resistance. You've developed complete immunity, not partial resistance that can be worn down over time, but total immunity that grows stronger with each attempted manipulation. Every guilt trip that fails makes you more immune to guilt. Every shame tactic that doesn't land makes you more immune to shame. Every fear-based threat that doesn't materialize makes you more immune to fear. You're becoming anti-fragile, growing stronger from the very things meant to break you. This immunity is triggering something primal in those who once controlled you. Imagine being a snake charmer who suddenly discovers their snake no longer responds to the flute. The music that once created predictable movements now produces nothing. No swaying, no hypnosis, no response at all. That's exactly what's happening every time they try their old tactics on you. The formulas that worked for years, possibly decades, have suddenly stopped functioning. And they have no backup plan, because they never imagined you'd develop immunity. Your transformation is creating cognitive dissonance that's literally painful for them to experience. In their mind, you're still supposed to be the person who needs their approval, seeks their validation, craves their acceptance. But the person standing in front of them now operates from an entirely different operating system. You've upgraded to software they can't hack, speaking a language they don't understand, playing a game they can't win because you've changed the rules entirely. The third phase brings us to the mirror effect, which is perhaps the most devastating aspect of your transformation. You've become a living testament to what's possible when someone chooses growth over comfort. Every day you thrive without their involvement. You're proving that their narrative about being essential to your success was a lie. Every achievement you reach without their support demonstrates that they were actually holding you back. Every moment of joy you experience in their absence reveals that they were the source of your misery, not your happiness. But the mirror shows them something even more uncomfortable. It shows them their own cowardice. While you faced your shadows and did the inner work, they chose to remain in familiar dysfunction. While you risked everything to become authentic, they chose the safety of their masks. While you walked through the fire of transformation, they chose to stay in the lukewarm water of mediocrity. Your courage makes their cowardice unbearable to witness. Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn that changes everything. Your independence isn't just personal, it's become energetic. You've learned to generate your own emotional states without needing external input. Joy without needing others' excitement. Peace without needing others' calm, confidence without needing others' validation. This energetic self-sufficiency is the most threatening development yet, because it means you've become a closed circuit. They can't plug into you anymore to drain your energy or inject their chaos. The fourth phase reveals the prophetic nature of your transformation. You're not just changing your own life, you're setting off a chain reaction that will affect everyone in your orbit. Some people are already beginning to question why they tolerate treatment you simply walked away from. Others are starting to see the manipulation tactics they've been blind to for years. Your example is creating a contagion of consciousness that threatens every dysfunctional dynamic in your extended network. The universe is using you as a catalyst for collective awakening, and this is why the resistance to your transformation is so intense. You're not just one person choosing freedom, you're patient zero in an outbreak of sovereignty. Every boundary you set gives someone else permission to set their own. Every no you speak empowers someone else to find their voice. Every time you choose yourself, you're modeling what self-love looks like in action. You've become dangerous not just to individuals but to entire systems of control. But wait, because here's where it gets even more interesting. The very people who find you intimidating now are about to reveal something they've hidden even from themselves. Deep down, beneath their resentment and resistance, they admire what you've become. They see in you the courage they wish they had, the freedom they traded for false security, the authenticity they sacrificed for acceptance. Your transformation is showing them everything they could have been if they'd been willing to pay the price you paid. The fifth phase brings the inevitable return attempts, but these aren't what they seem. Watch for the pattern because it's already beginning. First comes the casual check-in, testing whether your boundaries are still firm, then the emergency that supposedly only you can solve, then the nostalgic reminder of good times, attempting to activate emotional memories, finally the false apology that sounds like accountability but accepts no real responsibility. These aren't random, they're a coordinated attempt to find a crack in your armor. But here's what they don't understand about your new armor. It's not made of anger or resentment that can be melted with sweet words. It's forged from self-respect and clarity that actually grows stronger when tested. Every manipulation attempt that fails reinforces your immunity. Every boundary you maintain despite pressure strengthens your resolve. Every time you choose your peace over their chaos, you're proving to yourself that you've truly changed. The cosmic joke is that their return attempts are actually serving your highest good. Each test is an opportunity to demonstrate your transformation isn't temporary. Each pressure point they push reveals how much you've healed. Each manipulation they attempt shows you how far you've come. The universe is using their desperation as your final exam, and you're passing with flying colors. The sixth phase reveals something that will blow your mind. Your fearlessness has made you prophetic. You can now see patterns others are blind to. You can predict people's behavior before they act. You can feel the energy shift that precedes manipulation attempts. This isn't some mystical power. It's the natural result of stepping outside the matrix of control. When you're no longer inside the game, you can see all the moves clearly. This prophetic sight extends beyond just personal relationships. You're beginning to see the larger patterns of how control systems operate in society. The same tactics used in your personal relationships are used on a mass scale. The guilt, shame, and fear that once controlled you individually are the exact tools used to control populations. Your immunity to personal manipulation has given you immunity to cultural manipulation. You've become impossible to program. The seventh phase is where your true power emerges. You're not just immune to manipulation, you've become a master of energy dynamics. You understand that every interaction is an energy exchange, and you've learned to control your contributions to these exchanges. You no longer leak energy through emotional reactions. You don't hemorrhage power through the need for approval. You've become energetically sovereign, generating your own frequency regardless of external conditions. This energetic mastery is what makes you truly dangerous, because energy is the real currency of control. Those who once manipulated you were actually energy vampires, feeding off your emotional reactions. Your stress was their stimulation, your chaos was their comfort, your pain was their power source. By becoming energetically sovereign, you've cut off their food supply. They're starving for the energy you no longer provide. The energy dynamics go even deeper than most people understand. Every time you react emotionally to manipulation, you're literally feeding the manipulator's energy field. They've learned, usually unconsciously, to trigger specific emotions in you that produce the exact frequency of energy they need. Some feed on anger, others on sadness, still others on anxiety. You were their personal energy restaurant, and they knew exactly what to order from your emotional menu. Now the restaurant is closed permanently, and they're wandering the streets hungry for what you'll never serve again. Here's the revelation that connects all the dots. Your transformation was never random. You were selected for this upgrade by cosmic intelligence that recognized your capacity to handle this level of power. Not everyone who suffers becomes sovereign. Not everyone who's manipulated develops immunity. You were chosen because you have something specific to contribute to the collective awakening. Your fearlessness is meant to inspire others. Your independence is meant to model possibility. Your immunity is meant to teach others how to develop their own. The universe doesn't make mistakes, and your selection for this transformation was deliberate and purposeful. The selection process actually began before you were born. Your soul agreed to this assignment, knowing it would require you to experience certain challenges that would forge you into who you're becoming. Every betrayal was in the contract. Every manipulation was part of the curriculum. Every abandonment was a necessary lesson. Not because the universe is cruel, but because you needed these exact experiences to develop the exact strengths required for your mission. You're not a victim of your past, you're a graduate of a specialized training program. The 8th phase brings us to the architect level of consciousness. You're no longer just living your life, you're consciously creating reality through your choices and energy. Every boundary you set ripples out into the quantum field. Every act of self-love raises the frequency of collective consciousness. Every time you choose authenticity over approval, you're literally rewriting the rules of what's possible for others. You've become a reality architect, designing new possibilities through your lived example. This is why your transformation feels so permanent and natural. You're not maintaining a new persona through effort. You're simply being who you always were beneath the programming. The fearlessness others find so intimidating is your natural state. The independence that threatens them is your birthright. The immunity that frustrates them is your divine protection. You haven't become someone new. You've stopped being someone you never were. The effort was in maintaining the false self. Being your true self requires no effort at all. But being an architect of reality comes with responsibilities. You're just beginning to understand. Every choice you make now affects the quantum field in ways that ripple out to affect countless others. Your decision to maintain a boundary might give someone on the other side of the world the courage to set their own. Your choice to walk away from toxicity might inspire someone you'll never meet to do the same. You're connected to a web of consciousness where every sovereign choice you make strengthens the entire network. The resistance you're experiencing isn't really about you. It's about what your transformation means for the entire system. If you can break free, others can too. If you can develop immunity, the manipulation tactics become obsolete. If you can generate your own happiness, the control mechanisms collapse. You're not just a person who changed, you're proof that the entire game is rigged and that anyone can choose to stop playing. You're evidence that the emperor has no clothes, that the wizard is just a man behind a curtain, that the prison doors were never actually locked. The 9th phase reveals the ultimate cosmic joke. The very people who find you intimidating now will eventually either evolve to meet your frequency or exit your reality entirely. There's no middle ground in this new paradigm you're creating. Your presence demands authenticity that not everyone is ready for. Your energy requires reciprocity that not everyone can provide. Your standards eliminate anyone who isn't operating from genuine intention. The universe is using you as a filtering mechanism, separating those ready for the new earth from those who choose to remain in the old paradigm. This natural selection process isn't cruel, it's necessary. Not everyone is meant to journey with you into this new dimension of existence. Some souls have chosen to remain in the old paradigm, and that's their sovereign right. Your job isn't to convince them or save them. Your job is to maintain your frequency and let the universal law of resonance handle the rest. Those who match your vibration will find you. Those who don't will fall away. It's physics, not personal. It's frequency, not favoritism. The sorting process is actually an act of love. By maintaining your high frequency, you're giving others the opportunity to choose. They can either rise to meet you or remain where they are. Either choice is valid, but they can no longer keep you at their level. You've become like a tuning fork, vibrating at a frequency that either harmonizes with others or creates dissonance. The dissonance isn't comfortable, but it's necessary for evolution. Sometimes people need to feel uncomfortable enough with where they are to finally choose change. The 10th phase brings us to the mastery level, where you understand the game completely. You see that your entire life up to this point was preparation for this moment of sovereignty. Every betrayal taught you discernment. Every manipulation taught you boundaries. Every abandonment taught you self-sufficiency. Nothing was wasted. Everything serves the purpose of forging you into someone who cannot be controlled. You're looking back now with gratitude for every painful experience, because you can see how perfectly it prepared you for who you've become. The people who find you intimidating are right to feel that way. You've become their worst nightmare, someone who cannot be manipulated, cannot be controlled, cannot be diminished. But more than that, you've become an example that threatens their entire worldview. Your existence proves that their power was always an illusion, that control was always consensual, that manipulation only works on those who agree to participate. You're living proof that the game they've been playing is optional, and that revelation terrifies them more than anything else could. Here's the truth bomb that changes everything. Your fearlessness isn't actually about not being afraid. It's about being more committed to your truth than to your comfort. Your independence isn't about not needing others. It's about choosing connections based on resonance rather than dependency. Your immunity isn't about being hard or closed off. It's about being so aligned with your authentic self that nothing false can penetrate your field. You've become like a spiritual black belt, redirecting negative energy rather than absorbing it, using others' force against them rather than meeting force with force. The 11th phase reveals something that will shift your entire perspective. The people who find you most intimidating are actually showing you your own power reflected back. Their fear is proportional to your strength. Their resistance is equal to your force. Their panic matches your power. You can actually measure your transformation by the intensity of others' reactions to it. The more threatened they feel, the more powerful you've become. Their intimidation is your confirmation that the transformation is real, complete, and permanent. But here's what's really happening at the deepest level. Your transformation is activating something in their DNA, a remembrance of their own sovereignty that they've suppressed. Your fearlessness is triggering a cellular memory of when they too were free. Your independence is awakening, knowing that they too could choose differently. This is why your presence is so disturbing to them. You're not just being yourself, you're reminding them of who they could be, and that reminder is both painful and powerful. The final phase brings us full circle to where we began, but with complete understanding now. The intimidation others feel in your presence is actually the recognition of divine authority. You've claimed your cosmic sovereignty, and every cell in their body knows it. They're not really intimidated by you. They're intimidated by the God force expressing itself through you without restriction or apology. You've become a clear channel for divine will, and that level of alignment is overwhelming to those still living in illusion. Your transformation represents the end of an old world and the birth of a new one. In the old world, power came from controlling others. In the new world you're creating, power comes from mastering yourself. In the old world, value came from others' validation. In your new world, value is inherent and unquestionable. In the old world, love was conditional and manipulative. In your world, love is freely given from overflow, never from lack. You're not just living in a new paradigm, you're literally creating it through your presence. The very foundations of reality are shifting because of what you've become. You're not just a person who changed, you're a portal through which new consciousness is entering this dimension. Your fearlessness is creating cracks in the matrix. Your independence is showing others the exit doors. Your immunity is teaching others that the prison was always voluntary. Every step you take in your truth creates a path others can follow. Every boundary you maintain shows others where the edge of acceptable is. Every choice you make from sovereignty gives others permission to claim their own. Those who find you intimidating are having a primal response to what you represent. You're the embodiment of their deepest fear, that they've wasted years, maybe decades, playing a game that was rigged from the start, that they've sacrificed their authenticity for acceptance that was never real, that they've remained in cages that were never locked. Your freedom forces them to confront their own choices, and that confrontation is unbearable. You're not responsible for their discomfort. Their discomfort is their soul's way of showing them where they need to grow. But here's the most important revelation of all. Your journey is far from over. This transformation was just the preparation for your real mission. Now that you've achieved sovereignty, you're being called to something greater. Now that you've developed immunity, you'll be given opportunities that require even more courage. Now that you've mastered fearlessness, the universe is preparing to work through you in ways you haven't even imagined yet. The initiation is complete, but the real work is just beginning. The relationships that will enter your life now will amplify your power rather than drain it. The opportunities that will present themselves will align perfectly with your purpose. The synchronicities that will unfold will confirm that you're exactly where you're supposed to be. Everything you've lost was making room for everything you're about to receive. The universe has been preparing a table for you in the presence of your enemies, and now it's time to feast on the abundance that's always been your birthright. Your fearlessness has become a force of nature that cannot be stopped. Your independence has become a beacon calling other sovereign souls home. Your immunity has become a teaching that will outlive your physical existence. You haven't just transformed yourself, you've become a transformation agent in collective consciousness. Every person you encounter is affected by your frequency. Every space you enter is elevated by your presence. Every situation you touch is transformed by your energy. Let them be intimidated by your refusal to shrink yourself for their comfort. Let them be threatened by your commitment to truth over harmony. Let them be disturbed by your choice of authenticity over approval. Their discomfort is evidence that you're fulfilling your purpose. Their resistance is confirmation that you're on the right path. Their intimidation is recognition of a power they know they can never possess without doing the work you've done. And most of them will never do the work, which is why your presence will always disturb them. The ultimate truth is this: you were never meant to fit into the boxes others created for you. You were never designed to live within the limitations others accepted for themselves. You were never supposed to remain small enough for others to feel big. You were born to be dangerous to every system that depends on human compliance. You were created to be threatening to every person who builds their worth on others' diminishment. Your very existence is a revolution against everything false, everything limiting, everything that keeps humanity from its full potential. Your transformation from people-pleaser to sovereign soul was written in the stars before you were born. Every moment of your life has been leading to this emergence. Every challenge has been preparing you for this level of power. Every loss has been clearing space for this magnitude of purpose. You are not who they thought you were. You are not even who you thought you were. You are not even who you thought you were. You are something far more dangerous, far more powerful, far more necessary than anyone imagined. You are the storm that changes landscapes. You are the earthquake that shifts foundations. You are the wildfire that clears the dead wood so new growth can emerge. The chosen ones have always been dangerous to the established order. Throughout history, it's been the fearless few who changed everything for everyone. The ones who refused to comply. The ones who chose truth over comfort. The ones who chose truth over comfort. The ones who valued freedom over security. You've joined their ranks now. You've become one of the dangerous ones who will shift reality for generations to come. Your name might not be in history books, but your frequency will be felt throughout time. Your transformation will ripple through bloodlines, healing ancestral trauma and preventing future dysfunction. Your fearlessness is the medicine this world desperately needs. Your independence is the example others are waiting to see. Your immunity is the proof that freedom is possible. You are the chosen one who chose yourself, and that choice has made you unstoppable. The intimidation others feel is simply the recognition of what you've become, a force of nature that bows to no one, apologizes to no one, and diminishes itself for no one. You've become what every spiritual warrior aspires to be, completely free, totally authentic, absolutely sovereign, chosen one. Anyone can listen to messages like these, but few will step into their true power. We are here to help you do just that. The weekly Chosen Ones group calls are now on Zoom, and this is the moment you've been waiting for your entire life. These meetings are literal power vortexes where destinies are forged, where chosen ones unite their consciousness to create something that cannot exist in isolation. This is where everything changes. This is where you step into your greatness. Every week a doorway opens, but only for those brave enough to step through it. Watcher-level members of the Obsidian Inner Order can experience these transformative sessions live, feeling the energy surge through your entire being. In our most recent gathering, participants were stunned by revelations about the Great Pyramids of Giza as sophisticated ancient power plants and the shocking truth about Washington, D.C.'s layout, perfectly aligning with the Kabbalistic tree of life. Star Chamber members receive unlimited access to the complete recordings archive, a treasure trove of wisdom that grows more valuable with each passing week. This is your defining moment. The knowledge, the connection, the power that flows through these calls cannot be found anywhere else. Join the Obsidian Inner Order now, link in the description, while the few remaining Star Chamber slots are still available. Your presence is not just welcome, it's necessary. Will you answer the call that has been echoing through your soul? The time is now. The transformation is complete, but the revolution has just begun. Every day you live in your truth, you give others permission to find theirs. Every boundary you maintain teaches others about self-respect. Every time you choose yourself, you model what self-love looks like in action. You've become dangerous in the most beautiful way possible, dangerous to lies, dangerous to manipulation, dangerous to control, and that's exactly what the universe intended. You were never meant to be safe and controlled. You were meant to be wild and free. Those who find you intimidating now will either rise to meet you or fade from your reality. There is no other option in this new paradigm you're creating. Your presence demands evolution. Your energy requires authenticity. Your standards eliminate mediocrity. You've become the catalyst for change that you were always meant to be. The fearless one has risen. The sovereign has claimed their throne. The immune one now walks where the vulnerable once crawled, and the universe itself bends to accommodate the power you've become. This is your time. This is your emergence. This is your declaration of independence from every system, person, and belief that ever tried to keep you small. You are dangerous now, and that danger is your gift to a world that desperately needs to remember what freedom looks like. The intimidation others feel is just the beginning. Wait until they see what you do next. Wait until they witness the full magnitude of what you've become. Wait until they realize that your transformation was just the opening move in a game that will reshape reality itself. The chosen one has awakened. The dangerous one has emerged. The fearless one now stands where once a prisoner knelt, and the universe itself celebrates your liberation, knowing that through your courage, countless others will find their own. You are the storm that was prophesied. You are the change that was needed. You are the dangerous one that systems of control always feared would emerge. And now you're here, fully activated, completely unstoppable, absolutely fearless. Let them be intimidated. It's the appropriate response to meeting someone who has transcended every limitation they still accept. You've become what they fear most, living proof that the cages were always imaginary, the chains were always voluntary, and the power was always within. Your fearlessness and independence aren't just intimidating, they're revolutionary. And the revolution has just begun. The world will never be the same because you chose to be who you really are. And that choice, that single decision to reclaim your sovereignty, has changed everything, forever.